David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news, the violent tornado outbreak and the multi-day threats and raging wildfires forcing more families from their homes. New tornado watches and warnings as we come on tonight. Nearly 20 reported tornadoes in the past 24 hours. A monster EF4 slamming Enid, Oklahoma. Winds up to 170 miles per hour. Dozens of homes destroyed. Rescuers searching for the injured. Our weather team tracking powerful severe storms ripping across the plains to the Midwest and heavy rain moving into the Northeast. Plus the fast-moving wildfires exploding in the Southeast. New evacuation orders tonight and what we're learning about the death of a firefighter. New details on the Army commando involved in the top-secret mission to capture Venezuela's President Maduro, facing a judge today, accused of using classified information to bet on the operation, what we've just learned. The war in Iran tonight, the White House now sending 2 top envoys to Pakistan. One of Iran's lead negotiators will be there too. But the big question, will the 2 sides actually meet? And tonight, the Pentagon doubling down on the blockade. Breaking new details in the case of 2 Florida grad students missing for more than a week. Tonight, a suspect in custody after one student was found dead. The urgent search tonight for the second still missing. The dramatic new video coming in. A police officer pulled into a suspect's car during a wild confrontation of a reported robbery. The urgent new warning to Texas summer camps after those catastrophic floods. The heartbreaking tribute from the son of Rob and Michele Reiner, calling his grief over their murders allegedly by his brother a living nightmare. A family car flipping over. Good Samaritans racing in to help, pulling a baby out of the wreckage. And it's night 2 of the NFL draft, the emotion, the excitement, and the lives forever changed.
The Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
Plus the new world record set inside the stadium in Pittsburgh today.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. We begin with the tornado watches and warnings as we come on the air. Millions on alert across the plains and the Midwest for a multi-day outbreak of severe weather. At least 19 tornadoes reported in the past 24 hours. This monster tornado striking Enid, Oklahoma, an EF4 with 170 mile-per-hour winds, the path of destruction across at least 9 miles. And these twin tornadoes spinning around one another near Bremen, Oklahoma, not far from the Kansas border. Dozens of homes turned to rubble, at least 10 people hurt. Meantime, multiple wildfires are burning across the South. These flames from a fire in Brantley County, Georgia. And tonight, what we're learning about the death of a volunteer firefighter in Florida. ABC's Morgan Norwood leads us off from the fire zone.
Oh my God!
Tonight, violent tornadoes from a multi-day outbreak threatening millions once again after a terrifying 24 hours in the Heartland. Our Oklahoma City affiliate KOCO on the air tracking this massive twister live as it moves south of Enid, a city of 50,000 people.
There's a house right there. There's a house right there. And I am at a loss for words right now at what I'm seeing on TV right here. This is as bad as it can get.
That is insane.
This massive stovepipe tornado bearing down on Vance Air Force Base. Reports of people trapped in and under homes in the area. At least 10 people hurt. AccuWeather storm chasers intercepting this powerful tornado in nearby Bremen, Oklahoma. Back in Enid, home after home splintered along the track of the tornado. KOCO's Jessica Shambach on the scene.
6 tornadoes hit Oklahoma last night, the largest in EF4. It was on the ground for 9 miles in Enid, and this entire neighborhood is just about leveled. About a dozen people were hurt. It's a miracle no one was killed.
Miles away in Brantley County, Georgia, new evacuation orders as shifting winds fuel the Highway 82 fire.
Crews using this heavy equipment here, cutting fire lines, clearing the fuel, trying to box this fire in to keep it from spreading any further.
Today, officials said the cause of the fire was a spark from a metallic balloon that hit a power line. And outside Jacksonville, Florida, the fire's taking a tragic turn. 59-year-old volunteer firefighter James Kevin Cruz died after a medical emergency while fighting a brush fire.
And back here in Brantley County, there is a chance of rain for tomorrow, which could, of course, help slow the flames. But if there's lightning, that could spark new fires. So, yes, there's real relief on the way, but also risk. Whit?
Yeah, certainly another concern, Morgan. Thanks. So let's get right to ABC's senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. And Lee, this is just the beginning of what could be days of severe weather.
This is going to take us into early next week. Some of the worst storms could actually be Sunday into Monday. Now, we have tornado watches out tonight. We've had active tornado warnings and observed tornado across southern Oklahoma. The warnings continue. The severe weather is going to spread into Louisiana and into Mississippi as we go through late tonight. Now, tomorrow, some of the same areas get impacted, but it also shifts farther north into Oklahoma City to Wichita. Large hail, damaging wind, tornadoes all the way into Saturday night. Then a new storm in the west will drive the storms on Sunday and Monday from the Central Plains on Sunday to the Midwest on Monday, Chicago to Memphis, and St. Louis could be in the bullseye for possible tornadoes. And then this rain moves eastward. Some beneficial rain into Georgia where we have the fires, and then from D.C. to New York City, a chilly, soaking rain to start the weekend. Whit?
We'll brace for that. Lee Goldberg, we appreciate it. Next tonight, an Army commando involved in the mission to overthrow Venezuela's President Maduro in court for the first time, accused of using classified information to bet on that operation. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky with the new details coming in.
This is the Army commando who prosecutors say helped plan and execute the top-secret mission to oust Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela and won $400,000 after betting on Polymarket that the raid would succeed. Today, Master Sergeant Gannon Ken Van Dyke shackled as he faced a federal judge in North Carolina after his arrest at Fort Bragg. Prosecutors said while Van Dyke was preparing for the operation, he opened a Polymarket account and traded on Maduro and Venezuela-related contracts on 13 separate occasions, including hours before the raid when he wagered Maduro out by January 31st. Prediction markets are legal platforms taking billions of dollars in bets on real-world events, everything from Taylor Swift's engagement to the war in Iran. Minutes before President Trump announced a temporary ceasefire, traders bet $1 billion oil prices would come down. The president was asked whether he's concerned federal employees are illegally profiting from inside information.
The whole world, unfortunately, has become somewhat of a casino. It is what it is. No, I think that I'm not happy with any of that stuff, but they have all these different sites. They have predictive markets. It's a crazy world.
The president's eldest son, Don Jr., is an investor in Polymarket, and one of the Trump family's own companies announced last year it would launch its own prediction market.
In this case, Whit, Polymarket says it flagged the bets on Maduro's ouster and cooperated with the feds. Tonight, the soldier is out on bond, and Whit, law enforcement sources tell ABC News federal prosecutors are investigating other perfectly timed trades on prediction markets. Whit?
All right, Aaron Katursky for us tonight. Now to the war in Iran. The White House sending two top envoys to Pakistan, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. One of Iran's lead negotiators will be there too, but will the two sides actually meet? And tonight, the Pentagon doubling down on the blockade. Here's ABC's White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
Tonight, signs peace talks may resume. Iran's foreign minister arriving in Pakistan as the White House announces the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff will soon be on their way.
The Iranians reached out, as the president called on them to do, and asked for this in-person conversation. So the president is dispatching Steve and Jared to go hear what they have to say.
But as with so much in this war, we are hearing something very different from Iran. The foreign minister says he's actually in Pakistan to meet with Pakistani officials to discuss, quote, regional developments. No mention of talks with the U.S. It's been 2 weeks since the first round of direct negotiations came up empty.
We leave here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you.
So far, Iran has refused to budge. And Vice President J.D. Vance is staying back in Washington for this round of talks. Today, cameras capturing him taking a call from the president.
The vice president, I understand, is on standby and will be willing to dispatch to Pakistan.
The ceasefire, now a stalemate. Iran asserting its control over the Strait of Hormuz. And the Pentagon doubling down on the American blockade of Iranian ports.
As long as it takes, whatever President Trump decides.
So again, with the U.S. and Iran both sending teams to Pakistan, but it's unclear if they will actually meet. The White House says they will, but the Iranians in a statement say, quote, no meeting is planned to take place between Iran and the U.S. We'll
be watching for developments on that. And Mary, there is also news tonight about Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the Justice Department now dropping the criminal investigation against him.
They are, and with the president has long been at odds with Fed Chairman Jerome Powell for months, pressuring him to lower interest rates. The Justice Department even launching that criminal investigation into Powell and the cost of building renovations at the Fed. Now, Trump has already nominated a new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, but one Republican Senator, Tom Tillis, said he wouldn't vote to confirm him until the DOJ investigation was dropped. And with tonight, it appears that is what has happened.
Okay, Mary Bruce, thanks so much. We're following breaking new details in the case of 2 Florida grad students missing for more than a week. Authorities finding one student dead and taking a suspect into custody. But tonight, the urgent search for the other student still missing. ABC's Victor Oquendo in Florida tonight.
Tonight, police in Tampa arresting this man in connection with the disappearance of 2 University of South Florida graduate students. Dramatic drone video capturing SWAT officers apprehending Hisham Abu Garbieh, the roommate of 27-year-old Zamil Lehman, one of the missing students whose body police say they found on a bridge early today.
The human remains that we were discovered this morning was one body, and that has been positively identified to Zamil.
Police say that roommate barricaded himself inside when officers arrived at the residence.
We commanded the suspect to come out to our deputies. He refused. At that time, SWAT was activated. He came out peacefully and was taken into custody.
Authorities accusing him of false imprisonment, tampering with evidence, and unlawfully moving a dead body, among other charges. Officials still urgently searching for the second missing student, 27-year-old Nahida Bristi. Both students first reported missing more than a week ago. Police say they are investigating a potential motive and awaiting autopsy results on the remains they recovered, which could lead to additional charges.
Victor Oquendo, our thanks to you tonight. A 17-year-old is now charged with murder in the deadly shooting at a mall in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Police say Markel Lee turned himself in today. Lee also faces counts for attempted murder and a weapons charge. Police say they're looking for a second suspect in Thursday's shooting that killed a 17-year-old girl and injured 5 others, including innocent bystanders. Investigators say the shooting stemmed from an argument. Now to the urgent new warning to more than 100 Texas summer camps after those catastrophic floods. State officials saying their safety plans need major revisions, among them Camp Mystic, where 25 young girls and 2 counselors died last year. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, Texas officials warning summer camps their safety plans need major revisions or they'll be blocked from reopening. ABC News has learned the Department of State Health Services sent more than 100 letters of deficiency, including this one to Camp Mystic, where last year 25 young girls and 2 counselors were killed in historic floods, saying the camp's emergency plans don't meet new state requirements. Those plans will need to be urgently updated for Camp Mystic to reopen next month. Just last week, the camp's directors were grilled about the tragedy.
I grabbed 2 girls, and there was a third one that I didn't grab. And I held on to those girls. I wish we never had camp that summer.
In a statement, Camp Mystic says they're working to address the areas outlined. Our priority remains the safety and well-being of our campers. And they're not alone. State officials say every youth camp that submitted emergency plans received that same notice of deficiency.
Camp Mystic says this year's camp would not be held on the same spot on the river, and 800 children have signed up to attend.
Trevor Ault for us tonight. Thank you. Turning to the heartbreaking tribute from the son of Rob and Michele Reiner, calling his grief over their murders, allegedly by his brother, a living nightmare. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
Tonight, the heartbreaking tribute from the son of Rob and Michele Reiner, describing the grief from his parents' murders as a living nightmare. In an essay on Substack, Jake Reiner recalling that day, saying his sister called and said their father was dead, and then minutes later called again saying their mother was gone too. Writing, "My world, as I knew it, had collapsed. I was in a trance." Jake Reiner saying, "I was robbed of so many things that day. It simultaneously breaks my heart and enrages me." Police say Nick Reiner, who had a history of addiction and mental illness, stabbed his parents to death inside their LA home. His brother Jake writing, "One thing I keep coming back to is how frightened they must have been." He does not mention his brother Nick by name, but writes, "Any loss of a parent is devastating, but nothing compares to losing both of them at the same time. And on top of that, having your brother be at the center of it. It's almost too impossible to process." Jake remembering his parents as the most giving people I have ever known, describing Mom Michele as the engine, the backbone, and the heart of our entire family. His dad Rob as my hero. And Jake writing of their love for all three children. "The love they have for me, my brother, and my sister is truly unconditional." And Whit, Nick Reiner has pleaded not guilty to murder charges. He's due in court on Wednesday for his next hearing. Whit.
Alex Stone reporting tonight. When we come back, a family car flipping over, Good Samaritans racing in to help, pulling a baby out of the wreckage. The dramatic new video coming in, a police officer pulled into a suspect's car during a wild confrontation. And it's night 2 of the NFL draft. The emotion, the excitement, and the lives changed forever. Next tonight, Good Samaritans raced to rescue a family with a baby from a crash in South Florida. A driver spotted the SUV resting on its side on Sunday in Fort Lauderdale. Witnesses running over it and reaching through the shattered windows, pulling out the baby, grandmother, and father. Witnesses say a car ran a red light and hit the SUV. No word on any injuries. A police officer was pulled into a suspect's car during a confrontation at a reported robbery. Surveillance video from February showing a car smashing into a store in Antioch, California. An officer confronted the driver and was pulled into the car as it sped away. Police say the driver refused orders to stop the car, which prompted the officer to shoot the driver in the leg. Moments later, the car crashed and the suspect was arrested. The officer was not hurt. When we come back, a truck driver escapes a crash on the tracks, plus the football dreams coming true in the next round of the NFL draft. To the index now, a truck driver narrowly escapes a train crash in Fort Worth, Texas. A dashboard camera capturing that moment right there. The driver jumped out before a freight train slammed into the semi-truck. A witness says the 18-wheeler got stuck on the tracks while trying to make a turn. No one was hurt. Federal prisons are considering bringing back firing squad executions. The Justice Department issued a directive to the Bureau of Prisons to expand the methods used for federal death penalty cases. That includes re-implementing firing squads, lethal injections, gas, and electrocutions. A Jeopardy champ looking to extend his historic winning streak. Jamie Ding has 30 wins on the board and nearly $850,000 in prize winnings. This puts Ding in 5th place for consecutive games won. He celebrated his record run on GMA earlier, describing his streak as amazing. Still ahead, young lives change forever. A look at night 2 of the NFL draft. Finally tonight, excitement and surprises. Round 2 of the NFL draft live on ABC. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
Tonight in Pittsburgh, it is night 2 of the NFL draft. Overnight, the #1 pick,
Fernando Mendoza.
Indiana Hoosiers quarterback Fernando Mendoza headed to the Las Vegas Raiders. Mendoza taking in the moment at home in Miami alongside his mom Elsa, who lives with multiple sclerosis.
Now I step into a great game of the NFL. Look forward to proving and earning it every single day.
The night filled with excitement and emotion. Arizona State's wide receiver Jordan Tyson overcome after being picked by the New Orleans Saints.
You have to persevere. Life is not easy. Keep going, boy. You got it. You strong. I promise you, you're so strong. Just keep going. You got it.
The Giants drafting University of Miami offensive tackle Francis Mauigoa, who gave a nod to his Samoan heritage and to all those chasing their dreams.
If I can do it, you can do it. Simple as that.
Fans here shattering attendance records, more than 320,000 people cheering on the next generation of football stars. And as we look ahead to night 2, even more history made. Tonight, the NFL and the American Heart Association teaming up, setting a new world record, teaching nearly 1,300 people inside Pittsburgh's NFL Stadium how to perform CPR.
Excellent job.
Right there with them, NFL star and Pittsburgh native Damar Hamlin, who survived cardiac arrest while playing 3 years ago.
Rhiannon Alley, thanks so much. And just moments away, round 2 of the NFL Draft, 7 Eastern, here on ABC. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.